Welcome back to the Travsessed podcast. We're your hosts, Kim and Aaron. We are healthcare travelers and the creators of Travsessed, and we have a really good show for you this week, and let's jump into it now.
Flight crew, please prepare for departure.
Okay, intro is bleak.
Can we first kick this baby off by talking about my new addiction?
Oh, of course. I can't wait.
That you got me addicted to?
First off, I would like you, before you say it, describe how you're feeling right now versus how
Amazing.
you were feeling 2 hours ago.
Amazing. Like my life, I feel like I'm floating on a cloud.
More descriptive.
I feel like I'm on mushrooms.
No.
If you know, you know. No, I feel, to put it in perspective, it's 6 p.m., okay? We haven't had supper yet, which we did just have a snack because we wanted to do the podcast and then have dinner, which usually like at 6 p.m. I would be like tanked out, done, hangry, done with life, essentially. But that was pre my new addiction.
Right, which is funny
Now
because
it's like
I've just realized
I'm pulling all-nighters. I'm burning that midnight oil, you know what I mean?
I literally figured out Kim's secret because she would literally come home from the cafe, which Kim works in a cafe when she needs to get her stuff done. I work from the house. So we separate so that way we can stay focused, or else we'll just be here talking all day. And so she'd come home and I'd be like, okay, so I have all this to share, and she'd be like, I'm done. I already put in like a full day's work. Like I'm done. I want to cook dinner. I want to go like get in the shower and get in my jams and like watch The Resident. Like that's kind of like how it was. Now we have this secret weapon that I've been talking about for a long time, which now just stuck. And it is literally, like she said, it's 6 p.m. I feel like I have another 6 hours of work I could do.
I feel like it's 6 a.m. and I'm just beginning my day.
I know.
Which is funny because it's 5:52 to be exact right now. I got up at 5:52 this morning, a.m. So I've been up exactly for 12 hours. Never felt better.
Okay, so your new addiction is?
You guys may not have heard of it.
Oh my
I'm gonna drop some wisdom right now. Change your life.
And this podcast is not sponsored, by the way. So these are only things that we love.
It was?
I know.
Celsius. Dun dun dun. Okay.
Do you still have your can? You do.
Yeah.
You should.
Okay. So I know, and I want to preface by I understand that this has been around forever. Okay.
It really hasn't. It's kind of
not.
relatively
I've
new.
heard people talking about it forever. Like, you know, I listen to Saucy and Bo's podcast, and they like, she has a Celsius every single morning. Like, that's how she starts her day. So I've heard her talk about it for a really long time.
People are using that to get off coffee, or people that don't like coffee drink those.
Really? Mm-hmm. So I am not a energy drink girly. Okay. I'm recovering. I had a really bad addiction to Red Bull when I was in college. And started with Red Bull. When I was in college, I would have like 5 a day. Like I drove like an old broke down Honda Accord, and it would just be like a huge pile of Red Bull cans that people would sit in my car and have to put their legs up on the pile of trash. And then I would start my day with 2 Red Bulls and sugar-free, of course. And then the Starbucks espresso shot cans that you could buy, which...
How are you not dead?
How did I afford that?
Well, and your cigarettes.
Yeah, and a pack of Newports. That's how I would start my day. A smoke, a Newport, couple Red Bulls, and a shot of espresso.
Well, it must be nice when you only ate like frozen pizza and
yeah.
Like you didn't really eat food, so...
That's true. Also, that is why I switched to coffee, and where I never, ever, ever drank coffee, but it got to the point where I was like, I'm spending so much money every single day that I can't afford this. So I started drinking coffee in my clinicals because it was free. And here we are. Okay.
So wait, how did coffee become such a thing then? if it was like, because it's like your thing in the morning. There's
I'm
nothing better than but if it started at the hospital, don't you relate coffee to a hospital?
No, I started drinking it in the hospital because I'd have like a cup to get through clinicals, right? Because you have like 10-hour clinicals and I'd have to drive at 2 hours home. Like it was crazy days, like 2 hours there, 10 hours, 2 hours home. I don't know how I did it. No wonder why it was like living on the bowl. If you think that's a 14-hour day and I worked. Oh my gosh. Wow. That's crazy to think about. I worked on the weekend, as a server. That's how I afforded all my Red Bulls.
Okay.
So, but then I got into the coffee just to kind of get a pep, to get through like the final stretch. And then I don't know how now it's like, I just drink it. I drink it black. I don't know if you remember that. I used to drink coffee black, like through a straw, like a psycho, like a psycho. You couldn't pay me to drink coffee like that now, which is, unless it's espresso, I'll just take like an espresso shot. But then that slowly morphed to like enjoying coffee. It used to just be like a tool to get things done, but then it morphed into like,
now it's an experience,
and now it's my experience. And of course back then I didn't have like a morning practice. My morning practice was smoking cigarettes, like you know what I mean, like jamming out,
crushing Red Bulls on your head.
Yeah, like so then as I began
listening to Bob and Cherry.
Yes, 103.3 The Vibe. Like if you know, The
Vibe.
Yes,
of course.
Bob and Cherry in the morning. My friend Adrienne and I, we were both driving to college. Like she was in hair school and it was the same time. And we would literally call each other on the phone on the Bob and Cherry breaks, smoking our cigarettes and like talking shit about our friends who like weren't in school and didn't have to get up in the morning, but we were the responsible ones. That was my morning routine.
So typical.
I know. So now, over the years, obviously, I like cherish my morning routine and my time in the morning, and coffee has now become like a staple of that. Okay. So it's funny how that happens.
Yep.
Okay.
Back to
the Celsius. I think because, and then I moved into the Monsters.
Well, I used to buy you Monsters.
When we first became friends, that's how, one of the ways you like won me over. You would bring me up a Monster.
The white one, sugar-free.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it was like orange.
I still can't.
Oh my God. Like
every time I see it,
orange.
it reminds me.
Yeah. And I would have a huge red big gulp straw out of the Monster can. I drink everything from a straw.
But I would always get you a straw from the...
I know.
Yeah.
And you would bring it up to me and it was like, this man, like the key to my heart, Or I would drink, I always stopped at the gas station on the way to work. So I worked 3 to 11 and I would pick up a Monster and I would walk in and clock in and you could like smell it because it's so strong with all like the chemicals. Not over
your perfume and your cigarettes.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was quite a, oh my God. Like, it's so crazy to look back on that time of just how different I was or am.
Yeah.
Like a couple smokes before work, grabbing the Monster, coming in, glitter all over my eyes, like full on, like tanned all day, like bright blonde hair, tan skin, just like the whitest teeth you've ever seen in your life. That's also why I drank everything through a straw, so I didn't mess up my teeth. Anyways, those were the days.
Why did you just show your teeth?
Did I?
Yeah, you were like, so I didn't mess up my teeth? Like, I don't.
I did not.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. It's very bizarre.
I mean, it's hard not to see them. I didn't have to show you them.
But you made it a point with you stopped and like jutted your teeth out.
I love that, like, you're trying to show me your teeth, and even though you're trying...
Here we go. Chiclets, yes.
You still can't see them.
Okay. It's my big lips and my
really
my chiclets.
Okay, we're getting off on a tangent. We are going to circle back to the Celsius, but I would really love to see you...
With veneers?
Yes.
No, you wouldn't like me. It would totally change. Remember our friend Brian that did it? And we went and showed up and played golf. He didn't say a word to me. And I'm like, oh dear God, like he has huge teeth and they're bright white.
Uh-huh.
And it was very hard not to like...
It
altered the way he looked.
In my experience of what I've seen, yeah. Because everybody's doing it now. Everybody's getting veneers. Even my sister was like, you can go get veneers in Turkey for like $3,000 as opposed to whatever they are here, probably like crazy expensive. It's a thing. Like people are going to Turkey to get the veneers done. Everyone's getting veneers. And it either looks great or it completely changes your face where it's scary looking.
Do they have a model veneer you can wear just to see if it looks good on you? I mean, you try on glasses. Maybe we should come up with that. And no,
I don't want to come up with anything, but
a model tooth thing that you can try on veneers before.
I'm sure they have it, but it's just crazy how it completely changes people's face for not the better. It goes either way. Anyways, I would love to see what you look like with veneers because I don't know, it could go either way. I can't imagine you with teeth, honestly.
Yeah, I know, it'd be weird.
Okay, I feel like I would look amazing with veneers, by the way.
You would.
Don't you think?
100%.
Because I'm a very toothy person.
Yeah, your teeth stand out.
It would just elevate the toothy experience.
100%, and they'd be like perfect aligned and
just gorge.
Yeah.
Maybe we should stop in Turkey.
Okay.
And I'll just like get a pair real quick.
Sure.
Okay, back to the Celsius. So, I'm clearly not into energy drinks at this stage of my life. I'm a coffee girl. And so for some reason, and I don't know if Celsius is good or bad for you. I don't freaking know. Okay. I'm not a doctor, but I always was like, oh, it's an energy drink. I'm not into them at all.
Let me interrupt there. From the point of sales, again, you start to realize if they have a good marketing team, they can make people believe what they want them to believe. You do look on the can, and based off of everything else, it actually has more ingredients that are better for you than any other energy drink on the market.
Right. So that's why I was just like skeptical, or I didn't care. I wasn't listening to any of the Celsius conversation because I'm like, I don't drink stuff like that. You weren't talking. You talked about it a little bit, but you were like pushing it. You weren't like buying cases of it.
No, but I wanted to, but it's expensive to buy a case.
I didn't even know you were sneaking it at the job.
It started when I quit soda. That's when it started, because I actually said to myself before I actually quit soda, completely diet soda. I used to love a Diet Mountain Dew at lunch. It was like my go-to thing. And then Kim and I quit soda for 30 days, and for some reason something shifted in my body and soda tastes awful. Like, I don't care what it is. There are times with the pizza that it's a treat. Yeah, it's a treat, but it's still, even after the first one, I've realized the last time we had one, I literally had a fourth of my cup left of soda, and I didn't even drink it. Like, which is very odd for me because I'm usually coming back for a third and fourth.
Yeah.
So I had said in my head a long time ago is maybe I'll do the Celsius because everybody at work drinks them that I worked with in West Virginia. It was like a big thing, and they were all talking about how they substituted that for their sodas and it was a better thing, and look at the ingredients and blah, blah, blah. I didn't take anybody from West Virginia at face because of their other choices that they made. So I'm like, health is
Don't discriminate everybody in West Virginia, the people you worked with specifically.
That's what I said.
You said, I don't take the people of West Virginia.
Oh, I didn't mean to say that. I'm the people that I worked with, based off of like what their choices were, right? Like,
I get you.
Right. I'm eating healthy, but I just had a whole biscuits and gravy.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. Anyway, no judgment. Point is, I was telling you, I was going to use that to switch off soda.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Okay. So then, tee up, we leave Orange Theory. Our Saturday routines has basically become, we go to a early morning Orange Theory class together. And then afterwards, we stop by Kroger because it's on the way home, and we get like our produce and stuff for the week. Because
so we can pick them.
Typically we do, well, not typically, I do Instacart every week because it's just easy. And I hate going to the grocery store. But I like to pick out the produce because our produce is garbage here at our local Kroger. It's always rotten. And so we'll go in and like pick what actually looks decent. And like that's how we shape the meals for the week.
Yep. And they restock on Friday nights for Saturday mornings. All the new stuff comes in.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's like slim pickings on Saturdays. Sunday, there's nothing there. I think they restock on like Sunday nights or Monday. Because when you and I get there, no, it's like, are you kidding me?
You're right.
Yeah.
When I went back on Monday, it was,
exactly.
That's what it was. I thought it was Saturday. You're right.
So that's become part of our routine. Now, when we leave Orange Theory, it's a hard workout, and we bring our protein powder post-workout. We bring our amino acids, so we're like prepared. But like when you have a hard workout, like we did that day, you're just tanked. And I'm like, dude, man, we have so much to do today. I don't know how I'm going to get through this grocery store. And then I saw the Celsius. And I was like, maybe I'll just give it a try. Because sometimes I'll do 5-hour energies. But they had a whole case of just Celsius.
Well, and I'll take it back, too. What really put it into your mind, number one, I've talked about it. Number two, this Saturday coming up, this comes out Thursday, this Saturday, we're doing a Celsius-sponsored Orange Theory workout. And we're like, ooh, did we get a free Celsius? And like we started talking about it, but it's a power day, and like they're teaming up with Orange Theory.
Yeah.
And so that was in your mind.
We talked about it before class. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So then we saw the case of it, and I'm like, ooh, like, let's just try one. And so I did. And I did it. It's not like I didn't love the taste or anything. It's still kind of a weird taste to me, but I was like, I looked at the can, like there's no sugar in it. There's like a bunch of vitamins and different things. Again, I don't know if this is full of shit. I have no idea. But there was no sugar, blah, blah, blah.
Why do you keep saying that? The ingredients are on the can.
Yeah, but there's still like chemicals. Like there's things I can't pronounce. I try not to eat things. If I can't pronounce the name and the ingredients, I don't eat it. So this has chemicals in it, and it has other things in it. So yes, while I see that it has green tea extract and it has taurine and it has vitamin C and things like that, there's also words I can't pronounce. And so I don't know what those things are, and I don't usually drink things like that.
Agreed.
But I wanted to give it a try. Did. And I felt, it's insane. And maybe it's a placebo, I don't know. I felt so clear, so energized.
Non-jittery.
No, but I never get jittery with caffeine anyways. Caffeine doesn't make me jittery. But I was just like ready to tackle the day. I'm like, boom, 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 boom. Let's go. Like, I guess I can imagine people who take Adderall. I've never taken that before, but like they say you're so focused and you're so clear and you have energy.
This is not the same.
Okay, well that's how I felt. Mm-hmm. And I just freaking really like it. So then now we got a couple at the house.
No, what was crazy is Kim's like, can we go for a drive? And like she's never asked me anytime we've ever been in West Virginia to go for a drive, which was very bizarre. And then I was like, what are we going for a drive for? And she's like, Celsius? And I'm like, oh, dear God. So then we picked up, it was 2 for $4. So I picked up, 4 cans. And they had watermelon.
They're a freaking game changer.
Now we've taken them the past 2 days. And we take them in the afternoon.
It completely changes the afternoon.
We would not be doing this podcast.
The reason why I wanted to go for a drive, we did a call with our team for Everest Base Camp, which was amazing. We'll kind of get into that a little bit. And it ended up being a 2.5-hour call.
Yeah.
And we both got off, and it was just, I felt so drained, and we still had so much to do because we're trying to pile in a lot of stuff because we're getting ready to leave West Virginia soon, and like there's things that we want to have done before we go. So we're just in this like work zone right now. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I have so much to do. I can barely like keep my eyes open. I'm just drained from that call in the best way, but I just felt drained. And then we went and got in the car, went for the ride, got the Celsius, and I was like, boom.
Yeah.
It's like fucking crack.
Yeah, no, it's pretty good.
Oh, okay.
Now that I've had my snack and the Celsius, I'm like game on.
I'm amazing. I'm like,
I'm
what
actually
else?
so
Let's
focused.
Take on the world.
Anyway. So Celsius can sponsor this podcast.
We love Celsius. Sponsor the podcast. We love you forever and always. And
we're doing our Orange Theory Celsius workout Saturday.
So this is the perfect segue into our Orange Theory Everest that we did, which was Tuesday. And which is so funny. So they called Orange Everest. And basically, which we thought, we've done this a few times, but we were like, this is so cool because we're actually currently like training for Everest.
So the workout itself, I'll explain that and Kim can go into it a little more. It's basically like the floor. So Orange Theory, if you've never been, is a mix of rowing, floor work, which is always body weight. Orange Theory's philosophy is they want you to be 70 and 80 years old and be able to get yourself off the floor. So it's always functional movements that allow for functionality throughout life, right? You can up it or down it the way it goes, but the way that it's progressed with the workouts, that is that. And then there's treadmill, right? Treadmill, rower, floor. And so different classes or whatever. So on Everest Day, they always have theme workouts throughout the year. Every month there's some sort of theme. This happened to be Orange Everest, which totally changed the game because we're going. And you start off on the treadmill, you start at 2%, you run at your 1%, and then for runners, we'll just do it from the runner point of view. You basically increase 1% incline every minute.
Yeah, so
you go all the way up to 15, and then it's a distance challenge. So the whole thing is like, see who can get the most distance in the class, which the more distance, you got to run faster.
Right. So you basically...
And I PR'd.
Of course you did. You always do. That doesn't surprise me. But because, yeah, if it wasn't distance, then essentially you could walk the whole time, right? And
which is still hard.
That's okay, too. Yeah, that's hard, too. And people do that, and that's fine. But if you want to push yourself and you have a challenge, and you want to challenge yourself, you have those marks to hit, right, for your distance. And so you're going all the way up to 15%, which is really hard, and then you're going all the way back down. And so they call it their Orange Everest because, like, up the mountain, down the mountain, which is funny because on the way to Orange Theory, we did a story on our Instagram, and we're like, I don't know where did we hear this from? Because,
so you got it mixed up with Vermont.
Oh, okay, because you and I were both pretty confident and solid on it. We were like, oh, yeah, like they call it Everest because it's the same elevation.
It's not.
Gain that you would get Everest. And then we get on the treadmill and we're warming up and I start thinking about it and I'm like, there's zero chance this is the same amount of elevation. Where did we get that from? Because we just completely made it up. That's not even true.
I know.
We sounded ridiculous.
Well, it was funny because, like, it made me laugh of what we said. And the day before you weren't in class, it was one of the girls that I don't think, trained with. I think you've been there one or two times, but she's rarely there as an OTF coach. And she said, all right, guys, the air conditioning's broken today, but at hotter temperatures, you burn calories 84% more than you would in a colder room. And then she was like, I completely made that up, but I'm a fitness professional, so you have to trust me. And then she was like, but it makes sense.
I was like, oh, wow, that's amazing.
That's what I'm saying. So it made me laugh when we were like, it's the same elevation as Everest.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like, no, it's not.
I mean, if anyone took a second to think about that, they'd be like, how is that possible? And it's not.
I don't think if you think you're running every minute up to 15 and all the way back down,
not.
Could it be? But it's not. It was only 984 feet of elevation.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Which is like not even day one.
How did you even figure that out?
It's on your OTF report.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So that was hilarious because we're like, anyway, it was a challenging workout.
But different now, right?
What do you mean?
Mindset wise?
Yeah. And I think that's so I did a reel on our Instagram and it was kind of like how we're training for Everest Base Camp. And I was like thinking it out of like, what are we really doing? Right. And we're working out a lot and we've upped our cardio and we've added protein and we've done all these things. But honestly, and I think that the Everest Orange was great for the mindset piece of it, because it's way more challenging for me mentally to be on a treadmill than it is to be like on a trail. But what I came to is like, I feel that mindset is 100% the most important thing. Like, having a strong, able body is obviously very important and essential to like do anything challenging, especially like do a hard hike. But your mindset and your attitude, and again, we've done lots of hikes, right? We've done long distance hikes, high altitude hikes, things that feel challenging, right? And yes, our bodies are strong, but the only thing that's really ever gotten me up that mountain wasn't necessarily like my body. Even though, yes, it did. It was like my mind. Like my mind like got me up. Like the positive thinking, the one foot in front of the other. Like that is what actually got me
the gratitude
up the damn mountain.
That your body is allowing you to do it.
100%.
But I think that's what we talk about a lot is why I train like I do. And when the trainer said it's a distance challenge in Everest, and she said the goal to shoot for is 2 miles, and trust me, it can be done, I was like, game over. Like, I will reach 2 miles and I'll blow past it, because mentally, like you said, the mindset when we were going up Salcantay, and I was like, I can't go another step. There's times, and they say it all the time, any fitness pump up thing you want to listen to, or any fitness person will say, your body quits your mind quits 30% faster than your body can go more, right? I didn't say that right.
Something like that. But
30% sooner than what your body can actually go. And so like, I'm like, okay, when I feel like I want to quit, I still got 30% more to go. So when I feel like I want to quit, I push myself harder. So I don't just keep going, I push harder. So I'll go faster, or I'll increase the incline, because then I'm like, I'll tell you when to quit. Like, I'm not stopping. And so that way my mindset can be like, when you need this, you have that extra gear when you don't have a Celsius on hand. Right?
Oh my God, what are we going to do on the mountain? We're going to have yaks bring up Celsius for us. We should arrange that.
We'll bring a case and just like, yeah. Anyway, so like I've always trained that way. And so like, because that is the main thing you need, is because your body says, I'm done.
Yeah, 100%. I think
your mind says you're done.
Yeah. And that's what we always say, like when we're taking a group. So we have 13 people in the group that we're going to hike Everest Base Camp with. And majority of the people, well, every single person we've hiked with before, except one girl. And so we were very particular about who was coming on this trip, because obviously this is a big freaking beast, right? It's not for everybody. And everybody that's coming has really great attitudes and
100%.
And like really solid mindset. And when we're, preparing people for this trip, as we do as the host, and we're giving ideas and guidance around how to train for this trip, right? Because the more you train prior, the better your experience is going to be, right? And so kind of going into like, yes, what to do physically. You got to prep your body physically. Like, there's no way to really know how you're going to deal with altitude until you're there. That doesn't matter whether you're like the fittest person in the world or the least fit person. Altitude hits people differently. So you can't really train for that, unfortunately. But most of these people, we've all hiked in altitude to high altitudes in Peru together.
I would say you can, but go ahead.
So, I mean, yes, of course you can to some degree, but you just, when I'm talking about altitude sickness and stuff, like there's no way to really know exactly how you're going to do, right?
No, but walking up a small hill, you're like winded, super winded. And so that's why I try to like exacerbate myself in a workout and see how fast I can come back. Because that is equal to
like the O2.
Right.
Things,
like how fast can I get my breath back? Because you feel so winded all the time.
Of course, the better shape you're in, the easier you're going to be able to catch your breath. That makes sense. But I'm talking about altitude sickness. Correct. It's completely different. Like you can be very fit and get altitude 100%. Sickness and be out for the count, right? But yeah, like obviously going up mountains, climbing, like you being able to regulate your breathing as much as you can is comes from being fit, right? And comes from practice and like upping your cardio and stuff. And so we gave people like a training program essentially of like what they can do and physically, but also mentally. It's like really preparing your mind, your body, and your spirit to get ready to take on this challenge, because all of those things combined, if they're strong and if they're in a good place and you're prepared, you're just going to have a better experience. And your body can feel great, but like you have those days where you're just like mentally, you're like, that's how I felt in Patagonia. It was like my body felt fine. I could have ran that freaking trail. Like it wasn't anything physical. My mind wasn't clicking in, and I don't know why, but it was just one of those experiences. Like I just couldn't mentally and like spiritually click in to that hike. And so it felt more challenging for me.
Well, it was also our third time doing it.
And that could have been it too.
I knew what was around the corner.
Yeah, I just felt more disengaged mentally than I ever have on a hike. And so it felt more challenging, even though my body was prepped and ready. And my body's like, this isn't even hard. Like, go, bitch. What are you doing? My mind wouldn't click in. So it just goes to show that like anything you do, it's like the mind is half the battle. It's 100%. Honestly, I wouldn't say it's half. I would say it's like 90% of like,
agreed.
You know, so yeah, so it felt good to do the Orange Everest, get a little taste.
I literally have thought about this over and over again, and for our trips, I don't think there's any better preparation than Orange Theory.
I mean,
cardiovascularly, you're working your muscles, core. Like we always say that they don't have a lot of dedicated core, but I noticed that there was one class that you didn't do, and it was like a 5-minute core, and I went hard. And then the next day I got on the rower, and I was like feeling so sore in my core because of how much you use your core during that. So you're using your core a lot without actually focusing directly on it.
I guess. I don't know. For me, like, I love it as a good addition. It really pushes me in ways that I don't normally work out, especially running. I hate running. So for me, it's a good mental practice and physical because it's hard. And then it pushes me mentally because it's like I despise it, but I have to just click in and go. So I like it as an addition, but I also really just like heavy weightlifting and really strengthening up my legs and my glutes and all the things and lifting heavy. And then I love like Pilates or Legree for like really solid, dedicated core work for me personally. But I do think like, I guess if you were like, do one thing, I think Orange Theory will help get you in good shape.
Well, think about it. Plus, we're always doing a lot of shoulder, a lot of back, a lot of muscles that you miss a lot of times when you're lifting weights and you stiffen up a little bit. And like for hiking with like your backpack, like your traps and your shoulders and your lower back, and like Orange Theory hits all of those areas, and you're training cardiovascularly on top of that with the rower, which between the rower and the treadmill is like cardiovascular like overload.
100%. Switching gears, kind of staying on that.
So we're sponsored by Celsius and OTF, so keep going.
Right? That would be so cool.
I know.
Actually, I don't know. Like, but whatever.
Yeah.
I don't really care.
No,
it's not a really aired thing. But yeah, if you're listening. But I was going to talk a little bit about our call with Rick and Beck.
Cool.
Kind of staying on the Everest run, I guess.
Sure.
So what's really cool is
So no, as you can see, Kim is not a rapper, but what happened, our microphones have died. We cannot get them back connected. So since we left it off there this week, we will come back next week and pick up where we left off. We stayed on the mic for another 30 minutes and it didn't pick up anything. So instead of redoing that, we are going to just pick it up next week with part 2 of this. So sorry about the technical difficulties, but just like travel, you got to roll with the punches. And we will see you guys next week on the Travsessed podcast.